Hey, what's up everyone? Vasket up, this is Valoramous. In today's DJ tutorial, I want to discuss how to conduct a backspin transition as a DJ. So one is manual, and then the other one is automatic through a pad effects button. So before I discuss how to conduct or execute a backspin properly, I first want to say you do not want to overdo this transition, because if you do it too often, I would say more than once every 30 minutes or an hour, it will become annoying to the patrons or the bartenders and the bar staff, wherever you are DJing at. And so I'd recommend you use this transition sparingly, but this is a great transition because it lets the audience know that you're actually DJing up there and not just pressing buttons or playing a pre-recorded set. And it's also a great escape if you need to quickly get out of a song. So if a crowd is not feeling a particular song, you can use this backspin transition to essentially hit an emergency escape valve button and then transition to the next song quickly. But it can also enhance a transition that is already ongoing. So if you're mixing two songs and then mixing their bass lines, you can also, instead of using other effects such as reverb and delay, you can use a backspin to accentuate that transition to the next song. So in general, if you are conducting a backspin manually, there are two factors you need to take into consideration. The first is going to be the jog adjust. So I would recommend you move your jog adjust to the light side. That way the jog wheel will rotate back that much more. And then the second consideration is when to execute this. And I would recommend you either execute this at 2 beats or 4 beats prior to the actual transition point. And so that is going to be either half a bar or 1 bar, and that's depending on how fast you can spin this wheel back. I like to do a 2-beat spin back transition. That way I can also use the fader to cut it out. But the lighter that you use the wheel, the more that you can, or the farther in advance that you can conduct this transition. So if your jog adjust is set to very light, you can then start this at 4 beats prior. If it's set to average or even heavy, you're gonna have to do 2 and then cut the volume fader out as quickly as possible. Now the automatic method is using the pad effects, and I have this setting set to 4 beats. So then it becomes easy. Just 4 beats prior to the transition point, press that backspin button, and then the outgoing song will spin back for 4 beats, and then the incoming song at the tail end of that backspin will come in. So then it becomes quite easy. So now here's a quick demonstration. I will show you both the manual backspin and also the automatic. So as you can see there, that was a manual transition, and I used that transition technique 4 beats prior to the transition point. So it wasn't quite as effective because I didn't time it correctly, but in the next demonstration I will show you 2 beats prior, and this should be a bit more smooth. Okay, so that transition was conducted 2 beats prior to the transition point, and as you could tell, it was a bit more smooth. I will now show you the automatic transition. This will be conducted 4 beats prior to the transition point, and you'll be able to see some of the differences. Okay, so that was the automatic backspin transition. As you could tell, that was the smoothest of them all, because at that point it becomes just a math problem. I know exactly 4 beats prior to that transition, press that button. But there is one last key consideration that I forgot to mention, and that is you need to understand the harmonics of that track when you're connecting a backspin, because There are certain sounds in songs that will sound very excruciatingly painful to the listener if you conduct a backspin at that point. So in particular, these are the high frequencies. You want to pay particular attention that if there's a lot of upper frequencies or upper range harmonics, that you do not conduct this transition or you avoid it. But the manual transition needs to be a bit tighter in terms of timing and then also the harmonics. With the automatic backspin, you can get away with a bit more in terms of the actual harmonics that are inside the song when you're conducting that backspin. And the timing is important as well too, but you don't need to be exact with your timing. As long as you are approximately at 4 beats prior to that transition point or whatever setting you have in your automatic backspin transition, it will be an effective way to transition between songs. Okay, if you think I'm forgetting something, please leave in the comments below. If you like this content, like to see more, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.